reading, we are going to focus. We do have to use the smartboard a little bit today. So our focus today is another strategy. Yesterday we talked about using context clues, the picture and the other words around it to help us. Today we're going to talk about a different one called rereading. I can reread a sentence. What does re mean? What does the stem re mean? We talked about it in our stems. Read. AJ. Again. So that means you're going to do what? I can reread a sentence. What does that mean? Dario? I'm going to read the sentence again or phrase to fix the meaning of the text or my fluency. Fluency is how you sound when you're reading. Sometimes people sound choppy, like the dog is brown. That's choppy. Fluency, if you are good with fluency, you read like this. The dog is brown. The cat is white. So you would read with good fluency. So let me show you today what rereading is. Because today, during your independent reading time, you're going to practice rereading with a partner. And hopefully, those of you who can follow expectations will have a partner. If we can't follow expectations, we have to do rereading by ourselves. So listen as I model what the strategy rereading is. Listen to what I sound like. I'm going to pretend like I'm reading this sentence. Listen. The hose house was dark and everyone was asleep. Sleeping. What? So sometimes people will read like that, and yes, exactly. What? So I didn't understand what I just read because I wasn't, Mason, because I wasn't understanding. Alright, so I wasn't understanding what I just read just now. Why? Because it was so choppy. And I was having a hard time with a lot of the words. So if you have you knew the word was house, but you were reading too fast and you accidentally said horse, and then you go house, and you accidentally said asleep instead of sleeping. You know those words. You were just reading very fast, or you weren't focused on your reading. So you need to go back and reread the sentence once you know what the words are. So I just read the sentence, and I got to the end and I said, what? So now that I know the words, I'm going to reread it and now see if I can understand what it's saying. The house was dark and everyone was sleeping. There we go. That sounds much better. So the first time I sounded very choppy. The second time I went back and I reread it, and now I understand. So if you are being choppy, you don't understand what you just read, you need to go back and reread. So I'm going to model how to reread once you're reading. Here's my book. I'm going to pretend like this is my book that I picked during my independent reading time. And I walked over here and I sat down and I'm starting to read. And I remembered that Ms. Powell taught me about rereading strategy. I might need to use that. Listen to how I sound. Listen to see if I need to reread this. In a warm and sultry forest far, far away, there once lived a mother, fruit bat, and her new baby. Do I need to reread that?
Yes.
Yes. Why? I was very... I got stuck on a word, and now I have to... Now remember, we talked about at the beginning, I'm going to have to freeze right here during the lesson because I see some people not following the Reader's Workshop policy on the carpet with nothing in our hands. I got stuck on a word and I had to go back and say, and this word was mother. I said mom, and then I went, mother. And so I need to go back and reread that sentence so that I can understand what I just read. So let's try it again. In a warm and sultry forest, far, far away, there once lived a mother fruit bat and her new baby. Now I understand what I just read, so I'm going to keep reading. Oh, how Mother Bat loved her soft, tiny baby. Do I need to reread that sentence again?
Yes.
Listen. Oh, how Mother Bat loved her soft, tiny baby.
No.
That was pretty fluent, right? So I'll keep reading. I'll name you Stella Luna, she crowed. Each night, Mother Bat would carry Stella Luna clutched to her breast as she flew out to search for food. So sometimes I don't have to do it every sentence. Let's try this one. One night, as Mother Bat followed the heavy scent of ripe fruit, an owl spied her. Do I need to do reading on that one? Why? Raise your hand. Why, Alana? Why do I need to reread that one?
Because you say owl, bird.
Yeah, I said bird, and the word was really owl, and I said, wait a minute, that word's owl. I knew that, but I accidentally said bird. So sometimes I got my words mixed up. Sometimes I wasn't sure what the word is, and I figured it out, and now I got to reread it again. Listen to this one. One night, as Mother Bat followed the heavy scent of ripe fruit, an owl spied her.
Yes.
How about this one? Bound, bound she went, faster and faster into the forest below. Bound, bound. Bound she went.
No.
Does that make sense? No. So sometimes I read it and it did make sense. So let me read it again. Down, down she went, faster and faster into the forest below. There we go. That makes sense. So you have to use the strategy of rereading when you're reading. Why? Because that's what good readers do, and that helps us to become better readers. Rereading is when you reread the sentence or the whole page over again so that you understand what you just read. If you read, and I say, what did you just read? And you go, I don't know, I was too focused on what the words were. Well, you need to reread it again. The whole page? Yes. So that you understand what you just read, okay? That's what good readers do. So let's look at our sheet that I passed out. It looks like this. You should have it in your binder. If you could turn to that sheet in your binder. This sheet is called the Word Attack Strategies that I can use. There are 5 strategies. How many?
5.
How many?
5.
5 strategies. Who can tell me the first strategy that we talked about yesterday? AJ.
Look at the pictures and other words to help me figure out unknown words.
Look at the picture or the other words to help me figure out unknown words. Who knows what you can call it meaning clues, or you can call it what kind of clues? Damari, you remember? Context clues. Who can read the one we did today? Rereading. Tell me what rereading is, Malaysia.
After I figure out the word or I reread the whole sentence to the
After I figure out the words and the phrase and kind of figure out what's going on, I reread the whole sentence so that I can sound more fluent and I understand what I was reading. Today you're going to practice rereading with a partner. Only those of you who are being responsible right now, and I can tell you're being responsible by the way you look If I'm looking at you and you're following expectations, you will get to read with a partner. If I'm looking at you and you're paying attention, you will get to read with a partner. Unfortunately, those of you who aren't doing those things will have to use rereading on your own and not with a partner. How many of you think that you can do rereading with a partner and do it correctly? Alright, so let's talk about what this looks like. We need to review what partner reading looks like before we go partner reading. We talked about it, and we practiced it, and we talked about how you stand up from the carpet. We talked about how you locate your partner, bring all your materials with you, with your partner to a spot. Sit. We talked about how we sit. Elbow to elbow, knee to knee. I want two people to model what does elbow to elbow, knee to knee look like when you're partner reading. Michael and AJ, stand up. Locate your partner. Come sit up here right in front of the class and show them how you should be seated with your partner. Let's see if they can do it correctly. Oh, nice. So, elbow to elbow, knee to knee. The book could be his book or his book. You decide. The book goes right in the middle. The book is not over here with this person so he can't see. The book is in the middle. And they're going to take turns reading. What if their reading sounds choppy and they didn't understand it? What strategies should they use that we talked about today? Dario, rereading. So AJ's going to read, and his partner would say, help him with the words. And his partner will say, you need to reread what you just read. And AJ will read it again. Then Michael will go. And if Michael is choppy, his partner will say, you need to reread what you just read. And Michael will read it again. Why? Because that's what good readers do. Are we going to be talking, oh, you don't know what that word is? What? No, we need to make sure we're respecting our partner. We're listening to our partner. When he is reading, am I doing this? No. Or am I looking at the story too? Oh, both of us. Both of them are looking at the paper. Both of them are reading. None of them are up walking around, and I can't hear any of them yelling or screaming. They're not talking about something else like recess. They're reading. And what are they practicing using? What strategy? What strategy are they using? Camden. Rereading. You might reread it once. You might read it twice. You might have to read it 3 times. Is that okay? Yes. As long as you understand what you just read. Thank you, volunteers. Give them a good round of applause. Reading the whole time with our partner. I'm not saying, oh, I'm done. Oh, I'm done. Nope. Get another book from one of your boxes and read that one together. Talking in your B voices. That means I can't hear one B over all the other B's. I just hear B's. I can't hear one B louder than all the other B's. They're all the same sound. Talking about the story only. Are there any questions about what your behavior should be when you're partner reading? Are there any questions about what strategy you guys should be practicing today? And I'm going to be walking around listening. And I'm going to find the partners that are using the strategy of rereading. I want to hear that today will be 2 people will be most valuable readers. Whichever pair of partners uses the strategy the best. And I hear you using the strategy. Okay? Questions? All right, I'm going to choose your partner. You are going to stand up, locate your partner, bring on